This is the presentation on Vasco da Gama. Vasco da Gama is seen here on this picture. No one's actually sure when Vasco da Gama was born. Some historians say 1460, others historians say 1469. So it's really unsure when he was born. Also, nobody really knows where he was born. But we do know that he was born somewhere in Portugal. Vasco da Gama would later become one of the Portuguese greatest explorers. He would be most known for his voyages to India and East Africa. And he became a hero to Portugal because of this. And he really was foundational in beginning the Portuguese Empire. And although he never actually ruled the empire, we can kind of think of him as an emperor in some ways because of his diligence in exploring the land for Portugal. So, what did he actually do? Well, this is his route. Remember when we talked about Henry the Navigator in the Columbus presentation? Henry the Navigator went on the western coast of Africa, up here. However, Vasco da Gama was probably one of the first European explorers to actually go down all the way. He landed at Mombasa, which is now in Kenya, and had a little trouble there. Not everybody there was friendly to him. However, when he went to Malindi, they were a bit friendlier. Then he went across the Indian Ocean to India, to Calicut, India, and later to Goa, which would become an important Portuguese colony. So, and he was doing this at the time of 1498. And he returned to Portugal with 2 of his ships. He had started out with 4, actually. A small supply boat, which his name is not known. Then the Saint Raphael, the Saint Gabriel, and another boat, which is not known. The name is not known. And he arrived back to Portugal with only 2 of the ships in 1499. So what really was the importance of these voyages, and why are they so important? Why was Vasco da Gama's voyages so important? This is a map of the Portuguese Empire during the early 16th century, that is the early 1500s. All the red little dots all along coastlines are ports, little trading posts, and then the green is actually territory held by Portugal. Notice that the area which Vasco da Gama began to explore, this area right around here, this area up here, it's all colonized. Yes, it's all colonized. Henry the Navigator explored up here, it's all colonized. So as you see, Vasco da Gama's main importance, the voyage of Vasco da Gama's main importance was exploring East Africa and India, and then Portugal began to colonize this. Portugal was, despite the fact that their land on Europe was quite small, they had a large world empire, and did so for quite a long time, though it never really rivaled the Spanish Empire, which is probably the largest and most unrivaled for quite a long time. Portugal would be a major player in world politics throughout the 16th century, and it was mainly due to the explorations of Henry the Navigator and Vasco da Gama. So that's really the importance of Vasco da Gama's voyages, because he began the exploration and conquest of East Africa and India by Portuguese explorers, but also by other European explorers. The French, the Spanish, the English, the Dutch. So that's the main importance of Vasco da Gama's voyages to East Africa and India.